today is David Price, the CEO of Rockfire Resources. David, always good to be catching up. How are things?
Very well, thank you, Mark. It's good to be on StockBox. Thanks for having me back.
Yeah, it's good to be speaking. So you're all about Greece, aren't you, and Europe, and of course the Molaoi Zinc Project there. Just give us an idea of where things are at the moment, and also why Greece is such a good exploration destination.
Sure, Mark. It's a great destination. Greece is a very well endowed country, and there's a number of big deposits in Greece. El
Okay.
Dorado of Canada has a 1.78 million ounce gold deposit in Greece. And there's another very large gold deposit called Sapis, which is a million ounces at about 19 grams per tonne gold. I actually worked at Sapis about coming on 30 years ago now, Mark,
Hmm.
and it's been a long time since I was there. But I lived and worked in Greece 30 years ago on the Sapis Gold Project, and we defined a very large deposit there. And
Hmm.
so, Greece as a destination is a great place to be exploring and working. And we've had great success at Molaoi, and of course, Molaoi, our work continues there. We're drilling away to increase our resource category from inferred into the indicated category. So that's going very well. We did have some teething problems at the beginning with very large fault zones that we've now overcome those. We've moved away from them initially, and we've had people there, specialists, to be able to help us to drill through these fault zones. So all going very well and progressing beautifully.
And it's predominantly a zinc deposit, isn't it? But you've got the germanium there as well, which is perhaps a commodity less thought of or less sexy, but equally as promising, I think.
Absolutely. When I was looking at the project, I had read a geological report that suggested that Molaoi might be prospective for germanium and gallium and indium. And so I had the historical core that was drilled by the government. They drilled about 33,000 metres of diamond core, by the way. So there's an enormous amount of drilling there. And I had some of that analysed for germanium, and it came back with pretty nice germanium. It came back about 57.7 grams per tonne germanium in the historical core. So it was a great a bonus for us to be able to identify the germanium associated with the zinc. And it's interesting to say it's not quite as sexy, but today the price of germanium hit 7.2 million US dollars per tonne. So pretty sexy to me.
So it's a pretty sexy commodity to you. I mean, where is it used, David, in industry?
Well, there are three prime uses of germanium, and they're the biggest markets for the end users. One of them is the automotive industry, and those very annoying reverse parking sensors and lane assist, they all depend entirely on germanium. So the sensors in all modern cars for lane assist, reverse parking, and even auto parking, God forbid, it's all germanium. So it's to do with the sensors, and so the automotive industry is a very large user of germanium. The AI, robotics, and of course, all these robots that we see being developed, the sensors in the robots to be able to sense that they're not going to run into walls and things like that is all germanium. And the other industry, of course, is military use. So it's used in intercontinental ballistic missiles. It's used in all sorts of sighter ranges, and it's to do with the glass. When you pass light through glass, it actually refracts as the light enters the glass. It then re-refracts as it leaves the glass. So if you add germanium to the glass, it actually removes all of that refraction. So you can be pinpoint accurate, and that's an important aspect, of course, for military purposes.
You're doing that drilling to sort of move it from the inferred. I always get this confused. Inferred to indicated. Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
Right.
So where are you at on that timeline then? And what do you want to sort of achieve in the first quarter, let's say, or first half?
Oh, look, we're going to be drilling probably for the bulk of this year, Mark.
Okay.
It's a big program, and don't forget we've got 2.2 kilometres to drill out. So it's a big resource. It's a big area, and so we're going to be ongoing with that. And we're still hoping to get two rigs. We're waiting on
Okay.
a second rig, And we're obviously in contact with the drilling company regularly to be able to push that forward. Now, they've got about 15 rigs. They're busy all over Europe. And so their rigs are at the moment occupied elsewhere. But they have promised us a rig. We're waiting on that rig. And in the meantime, we just keep drilling and drilling and drilling.
And where would Rockfire be placed then if you succeed in getting that germanium resource? What would that open up for you?
Well, once we get the indicated zinc, silver and lead resource, we're hoping to achieve a maiden germanium resource. Okay. And if we achieve that, we will end up with one of the very, very few germanium resources worldwide. I think there are only two or three deposits that are quoted resources of germanium globally. And we'll certainly end up the only germanium resource in Europe, in the whole of Europe. So it's a great place to be if we can achieve that. And I think we'll achieve that. I think, all of the holes that we've drilled so far have hit germanium and good grades of germanium. Interestingly, the germanium was never analysed in the original core. So, of course, all the germanium assays that we have come from Rockfire drilling only. And that's why we haven't been able to get a resource. Okay. It's literally just a lack of data points. So once we start drilling and getting all of these germanium results, we'll be able to achieve an inferred resource from that.
Excellent. Good. And then what does the project sort of become? I mean, is germanium, if you get a good germanium resource, is germanium the flagship? Of course, you've got silver. I don't know if they're just sort of small credits or something significant, but certainly given the silver price, that's not a bad commodity to have in the mix, is it?
Yeah, the silver price is going nuts at the moment, and of course that boosts the overall grade of silver, the value of the silver at Molaoi. And it's interesting, Mark. It's a big deposit. If you look at we've got 1 million tons of zinc, we've got 260,000 tons of lead, and 19 million ounces of silver. Now, if you simply multiply those by the current value of each of those commodities, you'll end up with an in-ground value. And of course, we're not allowed to quote in-ground values. That's why you don't see that quoted by Rockfire. But look, the rule of thumb is that for inferred resources, you tend to look at about half to 1% of the value, the in-ground value, is the valuation. And even if you do that, it's an enormous number and multiples of where our share price currently is. So even if you look at the very conservative 1% valuation, it's still a big deposit.
Absolutely. Good. So just to finish off then, David, this year is all about drilling effectively. So at the end of the year, you want to have a defined resource of germanium. And what about the other credits? Do you want to sort of move them into a different category as well? Or where would you like to be end of the year?
Oh, well, absolutely. I hope that we've got an indicated resource for the zinc, lead and the silver, and an inferred resource for the germanium. At that point, we would be looking at starting our metallurgical test work. Our feasibility studies. So we've actually started a hydrology study and an ecological study in preparation for that feasibility study. The ecology and the hydrology really needs monitoring. It needs monitoring for 12 months prior to any mining activity. So we're getting that addressed now in preparation for our feasibility studies. So we're proactive on getting that done in a timely manner. So that's why we've started the hydrology study and the ecological study now. And so next year, we hope it can be dedicated to feasibility studies. And that's the aim. And all going well, that will occur. So we're on track to be able to deliver that.
Excellent. Well, David Price, CEO of Rockfire Resources, thank you, as always, for your time.
Thanks, Mark. Great to be on StockBox. Thanks for having me.
If you enjoyed this interview, then give us a thumbs up, a like or a retweet. Subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Twitter and hit that notification bell to be the first to know when we release new content. There's loads of great content on our website too, across all our programs at stockboxmedia.com. Thank you for watching.